Good morning. We've started the day and things look a little bit different, don't they? Well, it's a beautiful morning out there. It's absolutely lovely. But all sorts of things about our circumstances have changed. And following the announcement, not unexpectedly, from the government last night that we're moving into a lockdown situation, well, some more things have changed. So I thought I'd give a little video now just to think a little bit about what does that mean for us as Christ Church? How does that affect things for us? This is not me doing my Boris Johnson sort of seriously telling you what to do, although, the hair is, it seems, going blonde as the years go by. But three things to think about. One is, remember what's not changed. The big things haven't changed. Jesus is King. The Lord is King. God is still our loving Father who loves us. That's not going to change. And the Holy Spirit is with us. As we trust in Jesus, God's Holy Spirit is with us, whether we're scattered, whether we're gathered. That's not going to change either. These things haven't changed. And the story ends well. The story ends well. We know that it ends with Jesus putting the whole world to rights. And for anyone who believes in Jesus, well, that means joy and hope and everlasting security. That's not changed either. So that's the first thing. The big things haven't changed. Second thing is some things have changed. One thing that's changed is how we help each other. For a while now, we've not been able to meet up. We've not been able to go and see each other. But right now, the increasing sort of strictness of the guidelines means that changes the way that we might help each other in practical ways. So, if we're going to deliver something, or deliver some shopping, for instance, to one of our older or more vulnerable members who can't go shopping for themselves, well then there has to be no face-to-face contact in those meetings. We have to follow the guidelines that we've been given. They're wise. They're there for a reason. So that's one thing. Another thing is, well, how do we support each other at the moment? This is the third thing, and I'm thinking really about our use of WhatsApp and things like that. The WhatsApp group has been full of stuff, full of contact from people. I love all of that, and I'm really pleased that people are getting involved and connecting with each other in a new way, to a much greater extent than has ever happened before. I'm really amazed by that. I'm thankful to God for that. So here's my thing for WhatsApp. At the moment, we're in a situation where we're hearing a lot of bad news a lot of the time. We need to use that group, that WhatsApp group, and our Facebook or anything else like that we've got at our disposal, and phoning each other, things like that we've got at our disposal. We want to use those things to encourage each other. So we don't want to just fill it with anything. Particularly, I think it might not be helpful for us to pass on news that we've heard about COVID-19, medical advice, those sort of things. I know that there's a lot of news going around about coronavirus at the moment. I don't feel particularly qualified to judge what's good and what's bad advice that's being given, what's true news and what's fake news. I don't feel expertly equipped to deal with that. So I'm basically going to go with what the government with their advisors say. That seems like they know better than I do on these things. My top tip for listening to news, like I've said before, is go to Premier Christian Radio. Premier Christian Radio, you can find it on DAB, you can find it online, you can find it, I think, on Medium Wave, you can find it on channel 725 of televisions if you've got Freeview. It's great. It gives you the news. It also prays about it. So I recommend that. Let's not be sharing bits of news or scary stories or things like that on the Christchurch WhatsApp group if we can avoid that. Let's instead use it to encourage each other with bits of Bible, with prayers, things like that. One verse that's come to very helpful for me, 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 11, Paul, writing to some Christians who he can't be with, but who he loves, he says this, he says, therefore, encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. That'd be great, wouldn't it, if we can carry on doing that, encouraging each other like that. Particularly, hopefully by now, you all know you're in a contact group. You should know about that. Somebody should have contacted you and said, hello, we're trying to help you to keep in touch with a few people during this time. Encourage those people. pass messages around, pass prayer requests around amongst that contact group. That would be really, really helpful. You can share lives in that way, in a meaningful way, with sort of 10-ish people. It's much easier than trying to do that with everybody. But with a group like that, we can share our lives even though we're not together physically. It's stuff that God uses by His Holy Spirit. So yeah, that's my thought for now. This Sunday will still be live streaming. We're not quite sure what that's going to look like, whether we'll be allowed to go to the church building or not, or whether it'll just be, I don't know, me and a phone here or something like that. And we don't know, but what we will be doing is studying Philippians. Philippians is a letter that Paul wrote. I'm calling it Letter from Lockdown, because it's Paul writing it in lockdown to some Christians who he can't be with, but he loves. I think it'll be really helpful. Get reading Philippians. Read it, pray about it, share encouragements with one another. God bless.